Good evening. Welcome to Soni Irabor Live. Well, tonight we're dealing with situations, foreign affairs, foreign policies, and of course, why no ambassadors 2 years after the current government took over. These are issues to be discussed. And I have one person, none other than Professor Anthony Kila. Now, the thing about Professor Kila is that he's Oxford trained, Commonwealth Institute specialist, and all of that. He will give a bit of an account of himself as we discuss. You're welcome to the program.
Good to be here, sir. Good to be here.
I know you for the things you say and how you say them. So I would like to find out, what do you think is wrong with Nigeria, foreign policy-wise?
Well, I think our relationship with foreign history is a long relationship.
Long.
But we have to move from where we are backwards. I think currently, and there's something about foreign policy. The foreign policy as a paradox. It is shaped by the past, but operated by the present.
And that's interesting. Can you explain that better?
Yes, shaped by the past, operated by the present, to the extent that you can't run away from your past in foreign policy. You know, foreign policy is not like agriculture or tax. What other people have done before you shape what you need to do now. But what you need to do now is what grabs the headline, is what you're doing now.
Or what Nigeria is now,
yes,
is also dragging the headlines.
Well, absolutely, but not in a good way.
Absolutely.
Not in a good way, to the extent that I think the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, understands the importance of foreign policy, but the presidency, led by the same president, misses the process of foreign policy.
Therefore, he's giving them too much latitude. He's not putting them in the right direction, because some of the things that are coming out of there is as if they are attacking government or attacking those who criticize government.
Well, of course, because they're not, you see, the story of the president and Nigerian story is a very Nigerian story, to the extent that we tend to understand consequence, but we don't pay attention to sequence.
Well, please explain that. Okay, let's hear you again. Consequence?
Yeah, we look at consequence, we don't look at sequence. We look at what has happened to us, but we don't look at how did we get there. We look at what can happen, we don't look at how to get to where we want.
Okay.
And that is why you can have a president who has been described as the #1 salesman of Nigeria, who's going around the world talking to people, but as you pointed out, he has no ambassadors there because we're not looking at the sequence. You see, the lack of ambassadors
is unusual
in Nigeria. Well, the other one is now gone. May God forgive him his sins. The lanky man from Daura, he's gone now. He was the one who started this nonsense of not having ambassadors on time. This is a bad president that we've set up. It's a bad Buhari legacy that we set up for ourselves. You see, what we miss is this. The president might have vision. He might have his own idea. The ambassadors are the ones that implement it. That is logical enough to understand. What is missing, that we tend to miss, is that the ambassadors themselves have some ideas that goes beyond and outside the idea of the president.
So that's it. That has to do with interpretation.
Interpretation
of the president's ideas.
Of the president's head on one side, but be careful, it goes beyond that.
Okay.
Interpretation of the president's idea is a minimal level of what they ought to do. The other thing that they ought to do is for them to pick up opportunities, because every day the Nigerian ambassador or high commissioner to Rome in Italy, to Helsinki in Finland, to Denmark, to the UK, to Germany,
the US, where Trump
to
is
the
running
US.
right.
I'm thinking of the least obvious one.
Yeah, okay.
You see, what they need to do, they read the papers every day, or they ought to be reading the papers every day. So they should be picking up opportunities that goes beyond the big picture. At best, the president can deal with the big pictures. These people should be there. I know, because I've advised in my long, short life, a minimum of 3 ambassadors. They should be picking up stories day after day that the president might miss and look at how to turn those stories to opportunities for their countries. The fact that we don't have these people is a loss for us. But I tell you what is worse. That loss is a lot of policy. But I also say political loss, which I'm shocked about, because this president that we have, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whether you like him or loathe him, I'm not interested. You know me, I'm gone beyond partisan politics. He's the most political president Nigeria has ever had.
Yeah.
He's one president, he's not accidental. He does not pretend to be accidental. In his own words, I quote, "My being president of Nigeria, paraquote, proper quote, is a long life ambition." He said so, not me.
He said so himself.
He said so himself.
Is that why he said Emilio?
Well, it's part of it, because he has prepared himself for it.
It's my turn.
It's my turn, Emilio. You see, the thing is that because he's very political, he understands the desires of politicians. Understanding. Number 2, he has political connections. Bola Tinubu is one of the most connected Nigerians. I know, because as a scholar, I go around Nigeria, unlike most people who imagine things. And I see how he has contacts across the country, you know, from extreme ends of Sokoto to Lagos, from Calabar to Zamfara. This guy has connections, different kind of people. In this connection, he has people who are eager to become ambassadors, not nominating them ambassadors. So, you know, he has a long list.
Well, there's supposed to be a list of professional ambassadors.
There are 2 kinds of professional, there are 2 kinds of ambassadors. You know, there are career ambassadors and there are political ambassadors.
Okay, career ambassadors. I like the way you corrected
there are career ambassadors and there are political ambassadors.
Yeah.
I have no problem with any of the 2. Career ambassadors do the job because they're trained in, you know, international relationships, foreign affairs. Political ambassadors will equally do the job. You see, I shock people.
Well, political ambassadors get, you know,
they get advice, they get support
from professionals.
From professionals, so it's not a problem. It's not a problem at all.
Right.
If you choose career ambassadors, they understand protocols better. But if you choose political ambassadors, they get trained. It's not a problem. People exaggerate the difference. It's not a big deal, because whichever way, you still use advisors to get things done.
Yeah.
The point is, Bola Tinubu has a lot of people who would like to be ambassadors, and by not nominating them, he's alienating a whole lot of constituencies of people who will be happier with him and who could give something to Nigeria. And, you know, he's missing that point, and I don't understand why. So I think there are 2 things missing here. Nigeria, the lack of, I like the way you phrased it, the lack of ambassadors gives Nigeria 2 losses. Number one is political. The political thing is that the presidency is missing the opportunity of getting people who could have supported him. The other one is that these ambassadors, whether career or political ambassadors, there are opportunities that people who read the paper daily, who follow affairs of the country, who gather information from the country, can present to Nigeria. Let me give you an example. If I were president of Nigeria, or the Minister for Foreign Affairs, you know what I'll do? I'll gather my 50+ African ambassadors, European ambassadors, out in a room of close to 200 people representing the various countries in the world. I'll tell them that I'd like to give each one of you a target of $100 million per year to raise money. I want our viewers to multiply 200 times $100 million.
That's huge already.
I said the revenue we could give. So these ambassadors will go.
This is not loan.
It's not loan. Foreign direct investment in dollars.
Direct investment.
That people will bring it to Nigeria. So each ambassador becomes a salesman of Nigeria, of made in Nigeria. They will go to, there's no country in the world worthy of a named country that cannot raise 100 million for investment in Nigeria. You see my point? It's very low by benchmark, but the benchmark that people can achieve.
What's the direction?
You give them a direction and say, 200, how many countries are in the world? Let's pick 200. Of all the countries in the world, let's pick just 200.
But you see,
Of these 200,
okay.
Tony,
Yeah.
each one of them got 100 million. How did they do it? Tell them to come and invest in Nigeria. Tell them to come and create jobs in Nigeria. Tell them to come and buy Nigeria. Tell them to come and sell Nigeria. And you make that revenue happen.
I think there are distractions from the points you're making. Distractions coming from security.
Yeah.
Insecurity, rather.
Insecurity.
The way the society is being kept at bay from what's going on. You know, these people are not connected. They're not carried along, so they speak.
We need to, I understand what you say, but you know what we need to do? We need to learn to turn our challenges into opportunities. So we have a security problem. What do? Let's partner with countries that can bring in drones, CCTV, gadgets, walkie-talkie, aircraft, helicopters. Let them bring it to Nigeria to deploy it, and let them find a way in which our communities will pay them. We have bad roads. Let's advertise in Financial Times. Let's advertise in big newspapers and say, come and do our roads.
You're right.
As private partnerships and make money. You see, it's a mindset of vision. You see, I don't know. People think our problem is corruption. I don't think so. Our problem is vision and competence.
Vision and competence.
We need leaders who can think that, what are we doing in the global stage? Where do we belong to? In the US, in Russia, in China, in South Africa, in the UK? What are we talking about? Whilst we're talking about this, you know, and I hate to go personal about this, I got an invitation, I personally, to help to promote Britain in Africa.
Aha, look at that.
Look at that. My country is there, they're not using ambassadors. We need to think, Bob, you know, somebody needs to sit down and say, give me 30 men and women who can use the knowledge.
Right, I love the concept you're pushing forward.
Yeah.
But do you think the president is is isolating himself or being isolated from, you know, the scheme of things? Because, I mean, he wants to please everybody. That's what I see.
Well, I think he's not
doing the things I'm supposed to do to make
honestly, I don't care if he's isolated as being isolated, because let's be very clear. I don't want to be very clear about it. And I really want to be quoted. I want to look at President Tinubu and said, Mr. President, nobody ordered you to be president. You chose to be president. Mm-hmm. So guess what? Do the job.
Get the job done.
I want to look at the president and say to him, get that job done. You said you wanted to be president.
Absolutely.
We didn't beg you, no doctor forced you. You know, those who voted for you are happy you're there. Those who did not vote for you, you know, they're taking on the chain. You're there now, get the job done. It doesn't matter. You see, this idea is a very bad idea, I must say, of Nigeria thinking that maybe the people around the leader are the one distracting him. Let the leader read the newspaper. Let him see what's going on. Let him do research.
I don't think they let him. I don't think he has access to that anymore.
Well, he should have it. Let him hire you. Okay. Okay. So let me make an attempt to President Tinubu. Call Soni Irabor. Let him be in charge of the information.
Is too old for that already.
Nobody's too old to serve the country. Don't distract my thought, please.
Yes, carry on.
Nobody's too old to be able to serve the country. He needs somebody who can feel the pulse of the country. The president needs to gather, not me, other people. Let him put together 20, 30 men of great ideas and say to them, in terms of foreign policy, show me how you can bring home $1 trillion. That is your task. We need to think along that lines, and that, you know, that is what missing. And it's very painful for me because, as you know, you and I, we read foreign papers. Mm-hmm. As somebody who reads, I wake up in the morning every day before breakfast. I've read newspapers from 5 countries in the world every day of my life. I read 3 languages, sometimes 5. You know, so I know what's going on in the world, and I look at this country and I say, gosh, we're missing it. There are things we can do. There's a lot of emphasis, which I think is overrated, about our natural resources. The things we could do with human resources, culture, technology, creative industry, slightly close to culture, but different from culture. You know, we need to think along that lines. We could dominate Africa.
There's a question around Diaspora.
Yes. Diaspora, that's the fifth one, you see?
Yes.
You see, you need to be in that room. You got my thinking. I counted 4. The fifth one was the diaspora. Please, go ahead.
You see, there's so many Nigerians outside Nigeria.
Absolutely.
So very many. The good, the bad, the ugly.
Absolutely.
And on all of these, you have people who come to tell you, we're being isolated. Even when we bring money home, they don't recognize it. Blah, 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 blah. Canada, this Jackpot syndrome is affecting, and I think the lack of foreign policies is affecting the reason behind Jackpot, which means, for those who may not understand, Jackpot syndrome means I want to get out of here and go to another country where the greener pasture, I think, where the pasture is greener, right? How about that? In Canada, USA, in Asia, in Europe, in Africa. In fact, we're so seen in Africa as loudmouth, purposefully assertive, but very good in business and smart and knowledgeable.
Well, the loudmouth bit is true. Because I'll tell you something. I travel a lot, and anywhere I go in the world, anytime I see 2 or 3 black people making noise, I know they're Nigerians.
Nigerians?
So I just go to them and I speak pidgin. My pidgin is bad, but they understand me straight away. And I say, "Come, what's happening here?" So that's the thing. The diaspora is a missing link we're not managing well. But I tell you what, 2 things about the diaspora, 3 things about the diaspora. Number 1 is that it is shocking that we do not see the potential. Number 2 is that to tap into the potential, it requires good governance, which sometimes we do not have. Diaspora will invest in Nigeria. At the moment, the diaspora impact is going to consumption, not capital investment. I argue, and next week, amazingly you say this, I have a series of essays coming out. There's a meeting of California and Nigeria. I'm writing a series of essays on that, which I'm finishing at the moment, and we can discuss it, but it will be there for viewers to see, about how we need to tap into this thing. If you want to tap to the diaspora market, you need to make sure that, A, you create ad hoc, bespoke intervention for them. B, you need to make sure there's a dashboard where they can check what is going on with their money. But there's a lot of opportunities for them. You can ask diaspora to invest on a 5-year bond. Nigerians cannot invest in. On a 5-year project, diaspora will do that because they're used to waiting. But you need to guarantee them certainty.
Right.
My concern is that we're not doing it, partly because we don't understand it, but also I think that I'm not sure we're ready to do it because it requires all those things I've mentioned.
We'll just take sorry, can you just pause a bit?
Yes.
We'll take a short break.
Yeah.
We'll be right back soon after. Welcome back on Soni Irabor Live. We have Professor Anthony Kila, who is please explain what you do better. I try not to always put myself there. Yes, go ahead.
Well, it's not that difficult. Anthony Kila, Jean Monnet Professor of Strategy and Development. I'm the Director of the Commonwealth Institute of International Advanced and Professional Studies. And by the way, I want to say that I'm also Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Governing
Ibru,
Council.
Michael is
Ibru University in Delta, yes. And I'm a big fan of SIL, so everybody should be watching it. I think my claim to fame is being
my
a fan
claim
of
to fame is this one. All right, now diaspora. I noticed that you call it diaspora, so let me not Americanize it. Let's go British.
Yes, of course. I mean, I grew up in England, so the diaspora thing is, I call it diaspora, but it's all right, tomato. But never mind how we call it. What I am particular about is, what are we doing with it? We
have such a huge number. I understand.
I think we're not making the most of it.
Last year, $25 billion came from diaspora alone.
India, Israel. Oh, there's something about I. And I'm still just on the letter I. This was a country that was built by the diaspora. I think we're not making the most of it. We're not looking well. If I were to advise the president, if I were president, if I was in charge of things, I would open a very creative desk for the diaspora. And that desk would look at how to make their voice count, how to channel their investment, and how to make visible the investment, and then how to make their resources, their contribution matter. The world has changed a lot, and you don't have to live in a country to be part of it. You can live in England and work in Nigeria.
And work in Nigeria, that's true.
So all these people who've gone to Canada, to the UK, to the US,
we don't know yet what it takes.
We could create partnership for them where they come home to do surgery once or twice a month, to teach once or twice a month. And that is the people who, for the people who are there. But I also argue that...
By the way, there's some of them that do come, actually. I've been dealing with a few from Canada, US, and UK. Yes.
But you see, those people are coming, what we call a strategy, organically. Mm-hmm. There is no strategy to attract them. Where there is a strategy to attract them, you will not only attract more Nigerians, you will attract other people who have no direct link to Nigeria to help Nigeria. That is what strategy does. That is what being deliberate does to you. You bring in more people. So I bring in my friends. I bring in. When we started, for example, when I came to Nigeria years ago and we started the Commonwealth Institute, the one that I saw on the tube, some people said is that before COVID, we were doing lessons online.
Yeah.
Because there were people who they couldn't leave their country because we couldn't pay for them. Because the money we're going to pay them is probably equal to the salary, their income could not be matched by the price of the ticket fare. So they join online, they do their lessons. So at the moment today, when we have lessons at the Commonwealth Institute, for one course, we can have lecturers from different parts of the world.
Okay. Okay, in spite of my age, I can become one of your students.
Absolutely, I didn't want to lecture. You can become everything you want. You're Soni Irabor. You can become anything you want inside there. But you see, the beauty of it is that my thinking is that we need to think. We need to look at the potential of the diaspora and see what we can do with it. I want our viewers to look at it. When you look at films on Netflix, anywhere you look at films, do you not notice the labels of Nigerians, not only as actors, but as cameramen, as makeup artists, as consultants? Because I work with a lot of countries in the world. I go to people and people say, oh, wow. They say
Nigerian.
to me, I'm Nigerian, exactly. Now, this is the time when people are proud of it because they're in key positions. But you see, all these things, like our Nollywood,
which has really dominated YouTube now.
Itself, like our Afrobeat.
And Netflix as well.
They've done that without permission, they've done that without guidance, they've done that without support. It is time now to support it, to give you what it takes to take it to the next level.
Jonathan tried it. It didn't quite work. I wondered why.
Because, you see, there's one thing to have good ideas, there's another thing to have good competence.
Can you expatiate on that a bit more? Good ideas and good competence.
And good competence.
What's the difference?
The difference is a bit like, we need to learn the difference between dreaming and planning. When you dream...
Procrastination more like...
Well, you have the good ideas, but planning puts you into people, resources, time. It becomes an actual thing. I think, for example, that the current administration is high on ideas, but low
on competence,
on implementation and results, which can be termed as competence. The ideas are there. Nigeria is full of ideas.
Well, okay, how do you then take his representatives and their reaction to criticism?
Well, you see, contrary to what people think, I mean, human beings, we're one of the most overrated things in the world. We say this is about ourselves, that I don't mind criticism. In reality, most people don't like criticism. You need to be a masochist. You need to be either a masochist or be trained in the act of developmental studies to be able to understand that criticism is not as bad as...
Shouldn't you be adept at understanding the people you deal with, the people you represent, and the people you want to give policies to interpret for you?
You should be, but most people are not. Now, I am a known critic of the president. I criticize him anywhere, not because I like or hate him.
For good reason, maybe.
But because I want things to be better.
Yes,
generally,
that's the whole idea.
I criticize because I always want things to be better, no matter how good anything is. I'm the one that says the 1%. If somebody scores 99%, I'm the one that says the 1%. Here's the point. In fairness, I think this president, I said one thing that is good. He said, I'm thick-skinned. I understand I'll be criticized.
President who?
No, Tinubu said it himself.
Okay.
He said, you know, I know I'll be criticized because I took this job, and this is a job that opens me to criticism, so I have no qualms about that. That must be given to him. The other people who come out and shout, they don't get it. You know, they don't
even understand what
they don't understand. So, allow me to be a teacher here and teach some people their jobs, to say that if you are not a spokesman, if you're in charge of communications and strategy and public policy of the president, part of your job is to anticipate criticism and act in a way
that is what
to get it right.
It, anticipate it.
Well, you know, guess what? I blame you.
Why?
Soni Irabor, I blame because a lot of people in Nigeria, at some point, they were either your students or your listeners.
Somewhere,
so maybe you didn't teach them well.
Or that I've told them and they decided.
Well, maybe they did not listen to you, because I mean, really. Because if they had followed, those of us who grew up, you know, following you, listening to you, understand the idea of public enlightenment. We also understand what you brought when you're on the radio, listening to the people. I think you are one of the people who started the call-in programs in this country.
I did. Radio Link.
Radio Link, I remember. So the idea that you listen to people, you know, I say this, and I don't claim perfection. I'm not a good listener, but I'm working on it. I know it is important.
How long will it take you to work on and get away with it?
If you like excellence, and we, at the Commonwealth Institute, there's a program we have which is called Creating and Managing a Culture of Excellence. If you like excellence, you keep working on yourself.
True.
You have to identify your flaws.
We all do that, and I still do it myself.
Absolutely, but that's the way to excellence. You have to know that I'm not perfect. What can I do to improve myself this day, this week, this month, this year? It's a continuous thing. How can I improve myself?
There's something you said earlier.
Yes.
Most people, in fact, it didn't get lost on me.
Yeah.
Most people do not like criticism.
Absolutely.
And that means worldwide.
Worldwide. It's humanity. It's a human flaw. We like to be liked, we like to be praised. When we're criticized, we feel the critic is an enemy. Guess what? Because we're insecure. Humanity, no matter how rich, no matter how strong or famous or educated, human beings are naturally frailly insecure people. Okay. So what, as a leader, I'll tell you what I do is that the people around me, I say to them, that is nonsense. I say to them, this is wrong. Because you want to make them strong. You want to make them look at it in the face, not double around it. And that's the way to train leaders. If you like people, the best way is to tell them the truth.
I don't know whether Nigeria does what US, I think it's US that does it. That when you are elected into office, between November and January, somebody goes through some form of tutelage, training. Do we do that in Nigeria?
Well, I'm not sure if the presidency does it, but I'll tell you what, the principle is universal. Even when you become Oba, in our traditional institution, you're actually taken away to be taken through that process before you are installed, before your coronation. You see, there's that magic there.
Right.
To be taken through it. I think we're not doing enough of it.
We're not doing enough.
There's a story to say that...
even governors, too.
Even governors. When Tony Blair was a man who was known for eating apple and drinking milk. There's a story that says that, you know, after he won and he went to a briefing, not even 3 months, you know, he won 2 days of briefing that they gave him after they showed him the real situation of the country and, you know, what he had to do if there was war and emergencies. He asked for a glass of brandy. There's a place near my old university in Perugia, Italy. It was a military base. And this is a big privilege I shared in my life, where they brought prime ministers for a 1 week of interesting briefing. Once it was clear that you're going to be prime minister, you came in there and you were shown what this job is all about. So after that, you don't miss talk. You realize the gravity of your position. I see your point. I think we need something like that.
We do. I mean, I thought that ambassadors were also given the opportunity to learn.
To learn that, whether you're, especially political ambassadors.
Yes.
They go through that process as well. But I think it's a good thing.
I had a few friends. When we went to Ethiopia, I stayed with one. He was a young man in the Foreign Affairs Ministry.
Everybody's a young man to you, but go ahead.
Sorry, I'm not supposed to do that on air. Forgive me. Okay. Yeah, I went to him, and I remember what happened to me. Ethiopia is about 8,000 feet above sea level.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And I forgot something in my hotel room and rushed to get it.
Yeah.
When I came back, my heart was boom, boom, boom.
Of course, because you
warned me, said, listen, you don't do things
this
like that. Where did you think you're 100 feet above sea level? But then I learned something from him.
Yeah.
He was particularly careful in whatever he said or did.
Oh, exactly. The cultural sensitivity.
Right. Well, he's a retired man now. He's supposed to be, how would we call him? What did you call him? Professional ambassador?
Yeah, a career ambassador.
Career ambassadors.
A career ambassador.
Yes. And
they know the details because they learn anthropology.
But they don't use them.
Well, they need to use them. It's part of the flaws we have. You see, we need to use professionals and we need to train. Part of the problem we have is that somehow, and not just Nigeria, across the world, we think that democracy and holding political office is a right. That anybody can access it. I think that's wrong. We need to look like a duty. If for you to be a carpenter or dentist or hairdresser or manicurist or painter require some training, I think those who handle our politics should be trained as well. I argue, for example, that the INEC of the future, while they are, preparing for election, there should be a kind of program like certified political leadership program, which anybody that wants to run for anything should have gone through.
I hate to bring this up.
And I can tell you the curriculum.
Right, but I hate to bring this up, but then because of what you said and the importance with foreign policy, National Assembly, they do not read the documents they give to them.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. So if you make a law, in Nigeria, say for example that if you want to run to office,
do they understand the law they make?
You need to understand foreign policy, Nigerian constitution, budget and planning, and then environmental issues, for example. Take 5 things and say, for you to run to office, for you to run for any office, you need to go through this kind of thing. And so that when you do your INEC requirement, you need to submit a form that you're actually a certified political leader student. It will help us a lot. There are people who are in office, they don't even understand democracy.
Well, it's not supposed to be a trivia, but there's so much we need to discuss regarding how Nigeria is seen outside Nigeria.
That's a whole other seminar.
Yes, but then you are one leg here, one leg there.
Yeah, but I see,
And you create the bridge so well. I don't know how you do it. Like a suspend bridge. But then, how should Nigerians be seen outside Nigeria?
I like the way you frame the question. You see, and here's where this is you. Others will say, how is Nigeria seen? You say, how should Nigeria be seen? The way we should be seen should be deliberate. We should take our time to dictate the narrative that we want. There was, in this country a few years ago, there was a campaign about saying Nigeria, good country, good people. I raised up my hand then, I said, this is a good idea, but you have to, it's a package. You have to put content inside that package, because if you say things and people open it and they don't find what you say there, they're going to discard you and disparage you. Very dangerous, these. Discard and disparage.
At this point, we'll come with a second break, and we'll be right back after to conclude and, of course, find out where Nigeria is heading. Welcome back. We have the last batch, last lap of this program, Soni Irabor Live. And I'm with Professor Anthony Kila. He is not that kind of killer, so don't look at it that way in any form. He's a man who looks at things dispassionately, and we're about to round off. We were on the verge of concluding how Nigerians should be seen.
Yeah.
Let me be honest with you. Nigerians in South Africa, many of them are the good, the bad, and ugly again. In Australia, same thing. In the US, in Canada, and then I haven't said about UK or even Germany or Paris.
Yeah.
My president goes around. He's currently in Japan, if he's not, and he sees or hears about some of these things. So is this the whitewash we can stay on, or we have to make sure that at least they see everybody? They're worried about the image that, we carry along with us.
I think they don't have to see everybody. They have to see what we want them to see. When the world thinks
What do you mean,
America,
what we want them to see?
that's the same. We have to deliberately create a narrative. There has to be an office in charge of creating a narrative of Nigeria you want them to see. When people think of America, they think of strength, prosperity.
Nigeria wants who to see now?
The world.
Okay, the world, okay.
The Nigeria you want the world.
How
See,
should
so
Nigeria
put it
be
this
seen?
way.
Yes.
Let's look at it this way.
Yes.
When people think of America, whether you like them or loathe them, you think about wealth, you think about power, you think about cars, big houses. Control, basketball, baseball, Nollywood, burger, hot dog.
I hear the US is not interested in soccer, football.
Yeah, but that's what you think about.
Yes.
But in that same country, there are rapists, there are fraudsters, there are
Criminals of every kind.
Criminals of every kind. There's every kind of thing, There are people who worship Satan. But the point is, that's not what you associate them with. My message is that it is not accidental. So it is because some people
image laundry.
But the laundry, I don't like the word. Let's say making.
Okay.
You have to be deliberate to say, this is what Nigeria is about. Even with our problem, so I'll give you the problem. Say we have a problem of bad roads. If I were in charge of Nigeria, the way I would project that is to say that we have an opportunity to fix roads.
From the positive side.
Yes,
exactly.
you want to say, let all investors, let all construction experts come to Nigeria and see how many roads they can fix. If we can invite, we say to ourselves that we have a 48 months plan, and we want to invite 1,000 construction companies to work with our own national companies and fix 1,000 roads. It will change the country.
Something you just said triggered my admiration for New Central Africa.
Yes.
Because of the capital cities around the continent.
Yes.
No, continent.
Yes.
Nigeria, Africa.
Yeah, around the African continent.
They show a drone footage of Monrovia,
of
Johannesburg.
And you see the best parts.
Yes, and it's
that
so
was
beautiful.
introduced there. You show the best parts.
I love it.
Not the hungry-looking baby, which are there. But you see, even the hungry-looking baby, you want to say to the world, Africa is calling scientists that can come and excel in showing their talent to solve this problem. There has to be, that's the whole point of strategy, an IT strategy. The whole point is that you have to be deliberate in what you do.
You teach strategy. Do you think Nigeria, or Tinubu loves the word strategy?
Yeah.
Do you think he's doing enough of it?
No, I don't think so. I think I can say high intention. I'm not impressed about the way they're doing this. I think that a lot more can be done.
Interpreters that are not doing enough well. Yeah.
And I want to be very clear about it. I don't want to mince words about it. I think that a lot more can be done. We need more energy, more passion, more deliberateness, more communication with the people. We need people to know what is going on. It is not enough just to say you see the benefit of reforms. We need to see why we're suffering. We need to see the potential benefits, and we need to see landmark as we're going on. And I think that is missing, and that's a very wrong thing. So it's something I'm not pleased about, because there are people in this government who I know, who are my friends, who I respect, but I must say, because I know them because of my friend, I think they're not acting up to par. I think a lot more could be done.
So what do you have to say about the natural ambassadors like Professor Wole Soyinka, Chimamanda Adichie, who are the other ones, you know?
Let me announce,
powerful names.
Let me announce something here, given that we're among friends, you know. Just between us. I'm hoping to get the approval and the support of people like you. Later this year, our institute, the Commonwealth Institute, in conjunction with Panorama, I want us to do an evening of recognizing those who, by their sheer talent and competence, have represented Nigeria well.
Well.
You know, a sort of the great Nigerians event, so that they can understand that some of us see them, and above all, they can inspire others to do.
Well, you being in Nigeria, how do you think you are seen outside Nigeria?
Well, it's very funny because if you, I mean, and I want people to either Google or use AI for me, most of the neutral introductions, I noticed that in a lot of documents, they try to introduce me as British Nigerian. You know, which makes me laugh because I'm very Nigerian, no matter what people say. But so I have a personal identity thing, you know. In the UK, I'm that guy that has Nigerian thing. In Nigeria, I'm that guy that has a British thing. You know, so I'm somewhere, but exactly, you know, I'm in between the two worlds. But it's okay for me, it's not a problem. I like my Nigerianness, I'm okay with my Britishness, I have no problem with any of the two. Unlike somebody else that we won't mention, a woman, but we okay. I have no problem. I've enjoyed a lot about being Nigerian. Yeah, right. You know, I have no problem with my Nigerian thing, you know, which I give very much. I think some people see me as somebody who's not listened to. And they think it's a good thing because they think it's not your fault, you've done your best. But I think it's as a challenge.
But how do you feel when somebody says you're not listening to? Do you think you're not listening to?
Oh, I'm certainly not listening to. If I'm listening to a lot of things
you say are not heard or
no, I think they're heard. They just not implemented. I think some of the things that, in fairness, and I must be fair. It is not true that people in government don't listen to me because I speak to ministers, I speak to governors, and you know we exchange views, and they tell me some of their difficulties. I just don't agree with them. I think they can do better, and I think we need to keep pushing them to do. Some of them are angry with me because you see, as a people, our culture, we're very touchy-feely people. Some people think because they're my friends, I will not go and criticize them if I go to Soni Irabor live. And I'm saying, no, it doesn't work that way. If you do something right, I'll say yes. If you do something wrong, I'll say this doesn't work because it is my job. You can be president, governor for 8 years.
You must leave something behind, leave a legacy.
But never even mind what you leave. I will be Anthony Kila for the rest of my life. So I must say what I feel is right or wrong at all times.
Okay, well, we've come to the end of this program. Just about the time to sign off. But one last question before I go, maybe 30 seconds reply.
I'll do it.
Are you proudly Nigerian?
Oh, very. I have no choice. I mean, I'm not there's no doubt, you know. Well, I think proudly is a strong word. Let's say I'm happily.
Being Nigerian?
I'm happily Nigerian. I have no problem about it because, you know, I look at what I can do for this country, know what this country can do for me.
Director of the Commonwealth Institute, is also a professor, and well, beyond that, he's the Pro-Chancellor of the Michael and Cecilia Ibru University, South Nigeria. Is that where he works?
Yeah, that is in Delta State, in Agbaroto.
Okay. Agbaroto.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So he's been on Soni Irabor Live this evening. And by the way, next week, I want to say loud and clear, Julius Malema will be my guest.
Yeah.
And I'll be so happy to talk to him. Yeah. So thank you for being with us, and have a good evening.